Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my sketchbook. So here we have an over-the-top demonic glaive, and I did this specifically for a friend at their request. They were looking for a weapon that a demon lord would be carrying. Obviously the shaft is not shown, and there you have it. He wanted something absurd and I gave him something absurd. He was a friend that I aim to please. Here we have a military style pick. So that blade is, there's the cross section, and this is a cross section of this. It comes to 4 little points. So it's kind of like, this is a warhammer on one side and a pick on the other. Here we have almost a vaguely aquatic version of a real world style of tool. This is too curved, these points are kind of silly, and that is extraneous, but it's vaguely based on actual tools seen in the real world. Here we have again a play on the idea of a battle axe, trying to go for like an alien version thereof. It wasn't all that successful, but there you have it. Now this design I actually was very pleased with. This is a battle axe and it's pointed, but I liked the way it came out. So you've got the cardinal points, hollow in the center. I really like the way that one came out. It would be functional, I think, find it aesthetically pleasing, and the shaft is just painted so that you can't see all the, so you can't see that it's wood. And some weapons were painted, so that isn't completely out of the ordinary. So here we have a silly axe. I think I was going for some wing or insect segments or something there, but I don't know what I was going for. It didn't work. And here we have a fan with steel tips. So the vanes of the fan are actual steel. So this could be used as a folded up and used as a thrusting weapon, or a slashing weapon if unfolded. So it's a combat fan, and there were real world fans that were designed as weapons. So that was just my kind of play on that idea. Here we have 2 designs that are completely and utterly silly because I was trying to fill someone's request for a weapon. He kept describing it to me, and this is what I came up with, and there's a third one somewhere in here, I think, where I finally got to what he wanted me to do, but it was very strange. And this is a collapsible baton because a character in my campaign carried one, and I wanted to give him an illustration of what it looked like, and I drew it because I like to draw things at that time. Here we have a couple of throwing stones that would be from the Thri-kreen from D&D. So this is the kind of what do they call it? Chatkras or something like that? I can't remember. But they were throwing things, and they'd throw them and they'd return and catch them. And they had weird 3-fingered hands, and they could hold them like it was weird. But I love the race. Thri-kreens are awesome. Oh, actually, do I have it written down there? Yeah, Chukcha, I think it says what it says. Heck, I can't read my own handwriting. Not a shock, but horrible handwriting. Here we have another kind of absurd, over-the-top battle axe. I was kind of going for an unfurling orchid design. And here is the design we ended up with, that weird thing on the other page, and this is as close as I think I got to make him happy. I said, I'm not doing any more. If one of these 3 drawings doesn't fit, you're on your own. Here we have a wooden sword, so it's either a practice sword or a magic item, but it was made out of all wood, kind of like, you know, druids using the ironwood spell. This is the kind of thing they would come up with. Here is a mace with a bent wood handle made of stone head, and more a throwing stone, and here is a 3-pointed throwing steel, kind of a steel version of what a Thri-kreen would use for throwing. Because it makes a whole lot more sense in my mind to make them out of that. But I think they have the ability to produce some kind of weird resin they can make these things with, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. Here we have 2, I was doing circles that day. Circles were on my mind. So we have a circular Urgosh, so a pointed battle axe. Here we have a battle axe that it looks like a pizza cutter. I'm well aware of that. And here we have a weapon which is both used as in the hand and could be thrown. So again, just playing with some design ideas. And in that day, I was inspired by circles. I may have gotten a new gauge, a new template that day. Who knows? Here are more circles. This is a stacked circular heavy mace. And here we have a very silly kind of a demonic 2-handed sword. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But there you have it. I did it for something or other. It's supposed to have that kind of vaguely bone-like look. So probably used by a necromancer or something like that. Here we have more absurd battle axes that make no sense and would break the first time you use them. But again, I was playing with some ideas. Here we have a shield, and this isn't completely useless. The blades are too long. But it was a shield with points around it, so you could then use it as a weapon. I would probably get rid of this one, so you would be less inclined to hurt yourself, but the others might be able to stay. Here we just have a military fork. There you go. Boop, boop, stab trident, stab somebody. No edge, all point. Here we have another battle axe, and again, kind of going for that unfurling flower look, but I think I did better here, and I like the overall curve, and I think I did a good job. And this is leather-wrapped wooden shaft. I think I did a better job there. I'm much happier with that one. Here we have kind of a throwing star with a hole in the middle, and this is all faceted steel because I felt like doing it. I don't know why. Here we have a partisan going on there, kind of almost utilitarian. Here we have kind of a fantasy version of a naginata, half blade and half handle. Here we have a throwing steel that actually this one, I can't remember if this one folds up or not, but this was not sharp, so it could be used. This section is actually not sharp, so you wouldn't hurt yourself. The inside was the edge, and I can't remember if that was supposed to be folded or not. Here we have a two-handed Morning Star, which is, I think, would be a viable weapon, and there was real two-handed Morning Stars. Here we have a kind of a very curvy, organic, elven naginata. Here we have a weird, almost tomahawk hand axe thing, which is horribly poorly proportioned. This is a science fiction weapon. This is a monofilament sword. So this actually is not the edge. The edge is a line of monofilament that goes from there to there. So it's a monofilament sword, science fiction. Here we have an absurd angular two-handed axe and an absurd angular spearhead. I was playing with angles that day, apparently. Oh, this was an illustration. I actually was inspired at work by seeing a piece of plastic that was shaped like this. I did a very rough, quick, on-the-fly sketch, and then I came home and did a bigger version of it. It's silly, but someone asked me how my design process, and you'll notice I had scallops here that ended up going in the opposite direction here because I like these better. But that just shows you how it worked. This is a heavy piece of paper, actually. It's very, very thick. But this is what my design process looked like sometimes. Here we have a forearm gauntlet bracer. It was an illustration of a magic item. It's a bracer of archery. Here we have a throwing steel. Here we have kind of an elven katana going on here. And I really like this sword. I think I did an excellent job of this. I was quite pleased with that design. It's so simple, clean lines. I like simple, clean lines sometimes. Kind of a combat dagger. That's where your thumb goes. There's a depression. Angular, silly kind of spear head thing. Makes no sense whatsoever. Vaguely based on a Chinese weapon. I think I was inspired by something I saw in the real world on that one. Again, the shaft not shown. My first attempt at a flamberge. It was not successful. It's a little on the thin side. And then we have a absurd long spearhead with all these spikes on it, designed maybe for dragon slaying, for all I know. Here we have a heavy two-handed mace with spear-type looks. And here we have a whip sword. It was described, I can't remember if it was supposed to be described from the real world or something I saw in a game or something that somebody just asked me to do, but it was supposed to be a long, flexible, almost whippy kind of thing, and with a very ergonomic handle. So folks, that is my first sketchbook. I've got 5 of these, I think. So I've got a ways to go, and this is going to be a long series. And I'm going to keep them each one down to like 10-minute chunks, so it's not going to overwhelm people. And I am always open to comments, and people can talk about the designs I've come up with, but I don't take requests anymore. And I hope that some people find this interesting, because frankly, I'm enjoying talking about this stuff, because I haven't had an opportunity to do that. I don't get these books out very often. I really don't. So there you have it, folks. The first of my sketchbooks, the things I used to draw.